to WAEC Academy. For today, we are going to reproduce out the isometric projection you are seeing at the right hand side of the screen. So, our first task to draw any isometric projection, as we have said in our initial classes, that the first task is to draw a horizontal line, right? Let me say this is my horizontal line, right? Horizontal line this way, and a vertical line. If I have a vertical line this way, such that I will place this man in this format, I will extend it downwards, right? Same thing, I'll take this way, I will extend this point here down this way. This is what we call the isometric axis. So, having drawn your isometric axis, what's next? We said for the construction of isometric projection, your first task will be what? Draw your isometric axis. Next up, your next task is to measure out the length, breadth, and height of the given figure. First things first, my entire length is given to be 120. From here to somewhere here is 120. As you can see my arrow indicating, right? So I'll measure out 120, which is obviously from here is 0, right? So somewhere here is 120. Next up, my entire breadth, breadth here is going to be what? The 80. Right? That's 40 plus 20 plus 20, which is obviously 80. So let me call this point 0. From point 0 to point 8, which is at this point, is given to be 80. I've gotten my length and my breadth. Let's get the entire height. For my height, I can see, as you can see my arrow indicating, that will be 12, right? I'll add that 12, right? If I had 12 plus 42, right? As you can see my arrow indicating, plus 25, I have 79 as my entire height. 12 plus 42 plus 25, I have to be 79 as my entire length. So I'll measure out 79. Trimeter rule. This is 0, right? Come in 0, 79. This is 78. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 79 at this point. So I have structurally gotten the length, breadth, and height. So I'll project each of them upward, right? Come to this point. Project these two upward. I have this. Next up, I'll close it up this way. Extend this downward to touch this. Right? I'll take this way. Right? I'll take it this way. Have this. Right? So next task, I will just extend this over my T-square. Take this downward with a faint line. Right? I'm sure I'm doing. Next up, my next task is to close it up this way. I have this. So for a clearer view of the box, right, I'm going to clean some parts like this line, this line, and this one. I don't need them. Right, I have my box to be this. So what's my first task? From the diagram, I can see that from here to here is actually ticking. So I'll tick in mine, right? So I'll tick in from here to here, which is obviously ticking, right? From here to here, I'll tick in it, right? I'll tick in it, right? That's the first task. Next up, if you observe closely, there's an height of what? 12, right? 1.2. So I measure out 12. 1.2. This is 0. This is 1, 1, 2. 1.2 is ticking. I'll tick in mine. Next task, I'll take it inward this way to touch the other head with a what there, with a tick line. Then I'll place my T-square vertical this way to close this part up. I have this. What is my next task? My next task here is that I'm going to take this with a faint line inward this way, right? Faint line inward. You observe that there's an height of what? 24 upward at this point. So measure out 24. This is 0, right? 20, 24 at this point, right? That 24, I will take that 24, I'll say, I'll just take it this way to touch the other edge here. Hang on, just draw it down this way, right? So observe something, please. We are told that there's an inward line here. Observe. I'll take this inward. I'll take this part here inward, which is already done already. There's an length of 1, right? Which is let's say from here to here is 1. So, which I will obviously take this to touch this part here, which I have this, right? I'll close it up this way. I'll close this part up. I have this. Obviously, my next task now is that I'm told that from when someone here is 20, right? I'm given to be 20, right? Coming. So yes, someone here is 20. So this is 0. This is 20, right? I'll take in it. Obviously, from the tip here too, right? I'll measure 20 inward, which is this 20, 20 here, 20 here, right? So I'm left with what? 40, right? Which is 40. Left with 40. Next task is that I'll take those points to touch this one. So take this one to touch the first line, right? This one to touch this one. So take it this way. Have this one. Next task, come to that one. Take it upward. Sorry. Take it upward. Touch this one. So I have this. My next task is that I'll close this one up. Close this one up this way. Right? So you can see what I'm doing. Right? That's what I'm doing. My next task here is that if you observe closely, we took an initial distance. Let me take this one upward. We take this to touch this upward. Right? So from here to here was 12. So I measure, sorry, here to here was 10. Similarly, I will measure 10 inward here. So doing that, measuring 10, this is 0. This is my 10 here. And I will tick in it, which is ticking. So my next task is to take that point up. I'll take this point upward. This way. I have this. Right? So I'll close this tip here. Go this way. So I have this. As you can see what we're having at the right hand side of the screen. Similarly, I'll close this part up with a tick line, which I have successfully produced out this part here. As you can see in the diagram. Next task is that I will take this point here. I will take it upward. Mind you, this point I took upward, right? It has a specific height of 42, so which I'm going to measure out. So measure out 42 from here to here is simply 42. This is my point 42, right? So I will extend the point 42 inward, right? I'll take it inward this way, right? Inward that way, such that I will take this point 42 incline down this way. If you observe that 42 is actually giving the center at which that curve, right, is being produced out. So the larger circle there is going to be 25. So for me to make 25, I need 50. So I'll measure out 50 and half of 50. From here to here is 50. Half of 50 is what? 25, which is this. So with those points, I'll take them downward this way. Observe, I'll take this downward, right? Similarly, I'll take this downward this way. So here to here 25. So I need to measure out 25 upward and downward. Extend this to this. So here I have this. Similarly, here I have this. So that will be my square, right? That at which that figure will be produced out from. So I have this. I want to close this part up, right? So I have this. Right? My next task is that if you observe closely, next task is that from this tip here, I'm going to measure what there. It has a length of what there, 60 inward, right? So I'm going to just 60 inward, as you can see my arrow indicating. So from here, from this tip here, I'll measure 60 inward, which is at this point, my point 60. With that point 60, right, I will take it to form a box. So take this downward this way. I'll extend this point here inward. As you can see what I'm doing. Next task is that I'll take this way, take this downward, take this to touch the horizontal line, this one I just drew here, as you can see. So I can now take this middle point here too, this way. So I have this, right? I have this. If you observe, please, if you observe closely, you can see that I have a box. But I can also take this one too inward this way, such that I will take this downward to touch that line and close it to this, extend this to this. So I have this. So the box has been formed out already, as you can see. Just make this one light a little bit. So this is the box here. So if you observe closely that there's a curve at this point, there's an inner circle here, no problem. But if you observe there's some curve here, curve 1. See, I have curve 1, as you can see my arrow indicating, curve 2, curve 3, and curve 4. So how do I get those curve? First things first, if you observe that from here to somewhere here is going to be what? 26. So I measure out 26 from this point here, 26. This is 0, 25, 25, 26 at this point. So this is my point 26 on that line. So that point 26, I'll take it this way. I'll take it down this way, right? 26. If you observe that that is my 26 here. There's a thickness of what? 10, as you can see, right? So I'll measure out 10. So from here, measure out 1 centimeter, right? So this point is 1. I'll take that same thing I did, I'll draw it down this way. I have this. Next up, I will extend this point here to touch this. Next up, I'll take this here to touch it, just from a box back. Take this one here to touch this. I have this, right? Next up, the same way, I'll take this one to touch this, just to form out box, right? So I have this. So I have 4. See, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second one. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the fourth one. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the fifth one. Next task is to join the longest diagonal together. So I'll take it this way. I'll join this point here to this. As you can see. Next up, join this point here to this. Right. Next task, join this point here to this. And finally, join the last point here to this. So I have this. Those are my longest diagonal. So let's start with producing out the curve for this upper part here. How do you do that? You can do that using the ordinate method of construction of curve for isometric. If you don't know how to construct isometric circle, or perhaps isometric curve using the concept of ordinate method, kindly check the description of this video. It will take you to how to draw circles of isometric using ordinate method. Now listen, what's the first task here? Your first task is that, observe please, I'm going to take my compass here at this tip here. I will extend it downward to this and gauge it this way. Right, as you can see, take it this way. I have this as by the first curve, right? So how do I get the smaller curve here? So I'll take this point, this one, to touch this tip here. You can see, right? Sorry, not this point to this, from this to this, from here to this, and also from here to this, right? So I haven't draw this curve from this point. Extend your compass, draw this curve. Next task, take this point here to this to this. So where this line cuts the diagonal is at this point. So at that point, I'll take my compass and draw a complete circle. Right? I have this. So next task is that I can successfully take that line downward this way. So I have this. As you can see, we are progressing, not regressing. So what's my next task here? Next task is that I can just take this man here down with a faint line, and taking this to touch that line I drew now with a faint line, and then close it up the thick line this way. So I'm done for this. As you can see, my next task is that proceeding without stressing myself. Please listen. I can easily take points, transfer point, this point and this point. I will transfer them to the others. So this diagonal touches this one, second one, and the third one. As you can see, next up, this second diagonal here touches the first one. Sorry, the second one, third one, and the fourth one. As you can see. Now listen, please. Listen. Here's the idea. Actually, even please, you don't even need to transfer the point. Sorry for that. What's your next task? come to this point here. At this point, just simply extend point, right? So come to this point here. I'll just draw a faint line, a faint curve this way. Observe please, a faint curve. Come to, I used here. Next up, come to the next one here and extend curve this way. Just little curve, extend it this way. I have this. So my next task is come to this last point and I'll draw my ray curve here. Right? So I have this, which is this. Right? So next up, that transfer point is needed here. So I'll just come to this part here at this point, and I will successfully gauge this way, the faint line, ensure it touches this way, and I will use my T-square to cover points together, right? To cover points this way. So I have this, right? I have this, as you can see. So next task is that I will project this one here with a faint line this way, the faint line, and take this one down to the faint line, right? So proceeding with points, your next task is that if you observe closely, I have to get a center, right? All right. Proceeding. Listen, please. At this point, listen. I have listen. Oh, we just said we have two distance here and here, right? To be 10. We just said that now earlier. We established that from here to here was 26, as we did initially. We want to measure 10, right? To form this box we did here. Now this distance here. Listen. This distance here. We just said that from here to here is 80. So let's get the half of 80, which is 40. So since from here, observe please, since from this 0 here to here is 80, here should be what there? 40. So take that 40 upward. So this is transfer the point of 40. So this is that 40 here. Now listen please. Here is the tip about this stuff. To establish this, what do? That same 10 I measured from here, measure it here. But it will be what there? 5, then 5 to form 10. 5, 5 to form 10. So I'll take my meter rule. This is 5. This is 5 to form 10. So listen, here's the tip. I will take my meter rule from this first point here, this one. I will extend it down to the first, I did a curve here for this one and a curve here. So I'll draw that line so that it will be what? Tangential to that curve. It will touch the tip of the curve. This way. Observe, see? Touching the tip of that curve, the tip here. Next up, the same thing to the second one, to touch the tip of the curve. Something like this. So I have this, right? I have this. So next task is that I will extend this man here inward, such that I will take this first square here. Observe this first square, this one here, the first one here. I will extend this one downwards this way, and I'll close it up. I have this. Next up, I will link these 2 points together. So I have this. Also, what's my next task? Next task is just simply extend this to touch this tip here, and finally I will close this part, touch this. What is left? I'm only left with a smaller circle here, which is going to be what? 20. So how do I construct that? The same way, using the principle of what? Ordinate method, right? So how do you do that? I'll measure out 20. I need that circle to be what? 20. So I'll measure 10, 10 per se. 10, 10, right? 10, 10, please. 10, 10. Measuring 10, I'll take my compass. I'll measure out 10. So from here to here is 10. So come to this point. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are my 10. So I'll take my pencil. So this is the first one. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So those points. So I'll make use of those points. Alright, take this one too. Make a thick line so you can see it. So you don't get confused. This one touches, and this one to touch this way. So this is square, like the square I need here. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't use a thick line, please. Use a faint line. I just use a thick line so you can see it, so you don't get confused, right? So I have already drawn the longest diagonal together, right? So what do you do now? I will simply start producing out the curve. Start from this point, extend it to this, and draw the curve this way. Have this. Similarly, come to this point here and draw the same thing as did initially. Have this, right? Draw this curve this way. Next task is to from this one here to this, and also from this to this. So where they meet here, this one here, I'll take it down to finish up my box, my circle, right, this way, coming, right. So I have this. Next up, come to this point here, where they meet at this point to finish up the circle, right. So I have this, right. I have this, right. So this is what I have here. So we have successfully drawn out the figure you're seeing at the right hand side of the screen in isometric projection. If you have found this class helpful, do not forget to click on the subscription button and like. Thank you and welcome to WAEC Academy.